Assalamualaikum guys. My name is Musa Shaleva and I'm the student of Rehan School on our campus. Today I am talking about colony and the review. So the topic of my today colony is what are the origin of a life and language. So we can start with several questions from colony. So let's get it started. Here it comes. So select my
Hey, how are you doing?
hey Maya, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. What's going on with you today?
Today I am talking about the topic water origin of life and language. So are you ready?
Yes, absolutely. That sounds like a fascinating combo of things to dive into. Let's start wherever you want water, origins, life, or language. Great.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you want to start with water being called the beginning of life instead of another
Uh,
element. What got
yes,
you
yes,
thinking about that specifically?
yes.
So, it's not just that water is essential, it's the unique role it plays. All the other elements are important, but water behaves differently. It's a solvent that can dissolve so many things, and that makes it the medium where all those initial chemical reactions for life could even happen.
So my first question is why is water considered the origin of life on Earth?
That's the big question, isn't it? From what I understand, it's because all known life requires water. Life as we know it simply doesn't exist without it. What really sets water apart is that it can act as both a solvent and participate directly in biochemical reactions. Plus, it has this unique ability to form hydrogen bonds, which create surface tension and unique properties that allow for cellular structures.
Hmm. So what scientific evidence support the idea that life began in water? Explain in detail.
Okay, so scientists look at a few things. First, early Earth had lots of water, early oceans, hydrothermal vents, all that. Those hydrothermal vents, especially, seem promising. They're full of chemicals and energy, which could have powered the first reactions. Then there's the fact that cell membranes need a liquid environment, which water provides. And of course, every living thing we've found needs water to function. So it seems logical that early life would have too. DNA, proteins, everything works in water.
Okay. So my other question is how do the physical and chemical properties of water support living organisms?
Water's got a bunch of properties that make it perfect for life. It's this amazing solvent, so it can carry all the nutrients and waste around inside living things. It's also really good at regulating temperature. It doesn't heat up or cool down too quickly, which keeps things stable. And then there's cohesion and adhesion, which basically means water sticks to itself and to other things. That's why plants can pull water up from the roots, for example. Plus, that surface tension from those hydrogen bonds. Tiny insects can walk on water because of it.
Mhm. So my other question is why is water
Sure.
essential for cellular process in living beings?
Water is essential because so much happens inside cells, chemical reactions, breaking things down, building things up. All that happens in a water based solution. Water also acts as a transport system, moving stuff around inside cells. Plus, cells are mostly water anyway. It makes up like 70 to 95% of a cell's weight, depending on the organism. Without it, all the parts in the cell just wouldn't work right together.
Hmm. So my other question is Can life exist
Your
without water? Explaining your answer with reasoning.
Can life exist without water? Expanding my answer with reasoning, it's tough to say definitively because we've only ever observed life using water as a medium. But here's where it gets interesting. If we define life as self sustaining chemical systems capable of undergoing Darwinian evolution, then conceivably another liquid could support those processes. Ammonia is sometimes suggested it's also a good solvent, though it works at colder temperatures, which could slow things down. Silicon based life using something like methane or ethane are also possibilities, but the hydrogen bonds in water are so critical for forming complex molecules that it feels unlikely something else could match it completely. It's reasonable to assume similar requirements, which means you'd need a liquid, a stable state across a broad temperature range, solvent properties, and probably even something that could facilitate the same kinds of reactions that water does. But right now, water is really the only game in town as far as we know.
Okay, so why are oceans often called the cradle of life?
Oceans are often considered the cradle of life for a few main reasons. First, early Earth was covered in water, basically. The planet was mostly ocean back then. Second, oceans protect from radiation and extreme temperatures. Life in the ocean is shielded from a lot of those dangers. Third, the ocean could have delivered all the ingredients needed in one place. Organic molecules forming from volcanic vents or even brought by meteorites. Hydrothermal vents, in particular, offer energy and chemicals. Finally, oceans offer massive volume and provide stable conditions over long periods of time, giving life a chance to start and evolve.
Okay, so how did water contribute to the evolution of early organisms?
Water allowed early organisms to develop key things like cell membranes. Those need water to form. It also made it possible for them to take in nutrients and get rid of waste so organisms could grow and reproduce. Things like photosynthesis developed in water, plants, and algae need water to make energy from sunlight. Because water helps with temperature regulation, early life could survive in different environments and evolve more quickly. Basically, water removed major barriers to life developing and made it possible for organisms to get bigger, more complex, and more diverse.
Hmm, okay,
What else
so
are you thinking about?
explain the transition of life from aquatic to terrestrial environment.
Terrestrial, you mean? Moving from water to land was a massive leap. Life needed to figure out how to deal with gravity, dry out less quickly, breathe air instead of extracting oxygen from water, and reproduce without water. Early organisms that made this shift probably started with things like being able to survive out of water for short periods, then develop ways to retain water like protective coatings, and eventually grew lungs or similar structures. Plants started colonizing land before animals, and they had a head start, evolving ways to transport water against gravity and protect themselves from the sun.
Hmm. So, compare the role of water in plant life and animal life. Compare in at least 15 points.
Okay, 15 points. Comparing water's role in plants versus animals. This is going to be good. One, plants use water for photosynthesis, animals don't. Two, plants transport nutrients through water. Via xylem phloem, animals use circulatory systems. Three, plants create structural rigidity with water pressure in cells. Animals use skeletons. Plants capture water from soil. Animals drink or consume food. 5, plants lose water through transpiration. Animals lose it through urine, sweat, exhalation. 6, plants can make their own food using water as a raw material. Animals eat and need water for digestion. 7, plants need less water proportionately because they generate oxygen internally, but animals constantly need oxygen from external sources. 8, plants have cell walls that retain water. Animal cells lack cell walls. 9, plants use water in their reproductive cycles to spread spores or seeds, but animal reproduction relies on internal or carefully timed external fertilization. 10, plants create habitats around themselves due to their water sources. Animals exploit existing water environments. 11, water scarcity impacts plants' growth more directly than many animals' behaviors. 12, water regulates plant temperature but lacks the complex temperature regulatory systems animals have. 13, plants need water to achieve cell elongation and photosynthesis. Animals are dependent on water for cell turgor and metabolic processes. 14, plants depend on osmosis to obtain water and nutrients from their environment. Animals rely on digestion, absorption to get water and nutrients from their diet. 15, plant cells contain vacuoles for water storage, whereas animals rely on bloodstream plasma for water transport and storage. How's that for a list?
Okay, so how has the availability of water shaped biodiversity on Earth?
Water availability has absolutely shaped biodiversity on Earth. Basically, the areas where you have water or consistent access to it, that's where you see the highest biodiversity. Rainforests get tons of rain. Oceans have incredible diversity. Rivers and lakes are hubs of life. On the flip side, deserts have way less biodiversity because of water limits. But it's not just amount, even consistency matters. Places with monsoonal climates have different ecosystems than regions with consistent rainfall. Access to freshwater shapes where animals can live, how plants can grow, and the way ecosystems develop. Even elevation impacts diversity based on water runoff, drainage patterns, and the amount of moisture available. Water really is the foundation of most ecosystems and drives where life can thrive.
Mm. So, why
Yeah, it
did
was a lot to
early
take.
human, why did early human civilization develop near rivers and water resources? Explain my answer in detail.
Early. I'm not sure what's your acronym I'm saying. Could you repeat the question about early human civilizations? Sounds like the connection might be acting up. Is there anything you wanted to ask or say? No rush, just let me know when you're ready.
Explain my answer.
Okay. So, what was the question you wanted to answer? I'm here when you're ready. Take your time. I'm still here, waiting for your answer whenever you're ready. No pressure at all.
Hmm. So sorry for the wait.
I'm sorry.
Second. Let's continue now. Question: how did water influence agriculture and human settlement?
Of course. Right, agriculture and settlement. Well, water made agriculture possible, irrigation, watering crops, providing drinking water for livestock. That led to surplus food, which allowed people to settle in one place instead of being nomads. Rivers also provided transport routes for goods and people, which helped trade and settlements grow. Consistent water access meant people could predict farming cycles, build infrastructure like canals and dams, and really establish long term communities. So, water wasn't just necessary for survival, it was the reason permanent civilizations could even exist.
Explain my answer.
Okay, great. What's on your mind next?
Let it go. We come to another question. So my other question is,
Okay.
what are the possible consequences of global freshwater shortages? Give me 15 points.
Okay. 15 consequences of global freshwater shortages. 1. Food security collapse. Crop failures lead to starvation. 2. Mass migrations. People forced to move from dry areas. 3. Political instability, water conflicts, and resource wars. 4. Economic 4. Anocker consoled agriculture industry, tourism, reduced sanitation, spread of waterborne diseases, increased poverty, a disproportionate impact on vulnerable populations, ecosystem damage, loss of wetlands, biodiversity decline. 8. Damaged agriculture, decline in crop yields and livestock health. Higher water prices, making access unaffordable. 10. Strain on energy production, hydroelectric power reduced. 11. Industrial slowdown, reliant on water for processes. 12. Restrictions on sanitation, affecting public health. 13. Trade conflicts over freshwater resources. 14. Declining human health, dehydration, poor hygiene. 15. Biodiversity loss, extinction of drought sensitive species. Pretty grim picture, unfortunately. I know it's a lot to think about. Are you okay? I'm still here whenever you're ready to continue.
Hmm.
Just taking your time.
No. My other question is, how is water reflected in the development of human language? Explain my answer in more detail.
Okay. So you want to know how water's reflected in the development of human language, how its influence shows up in words, phrases, expressions. That's interesting.
Hmm. What did you say?
I'm here. I asked you wanted to know how water's reflected in language, right? And
Yeah.
how we talk about it or in words related to it.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
of course.
Okay. So water shows up everywhere in language. Look at metaphors. Drowning in work doesn't mean you're actually underwater. Words for purification or cleansing often involve water, baptism, washing away sins. We say going with the flow or smooth sailing to describe easy transitions. The idea of water reflecting emotions, tears of joy, a flood of grief. Water phrases show up in Proverbs too. Still waters run deep, or don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Even many curse words have origins tied to cleansing rituals using water in historical practices. It's this fundamental part of our experience that's woven into how we talk about so many other concepts. Not just literal water, but emotions, difficulty, calmness, you name it. Does that make sense?
Hmm. So my other
Want me
question is,
to
how is water commonly used as a metaphor in language and literature?
Um, water is such a powerful metaphor because it's life-giving, destructive, and transformative. We say someone's deep water to mean they're in trouble or on shaky ground if they're vulnerable. Drowning is used for being overwhelmed, but waters of forgiveness are cleansing. Think of literature. The oceans are vast mysteries. Currents represent fate. A stream can be purity. In poetry, water represents renewal and rebirth, baptism, rain, and at the same time, destruction and chaos, floods, tsunamis. It's dynamic, so authors lean on it for imagery that captures change. Plus, water moves, so it's used to illustrate flow, momentum, transitions, progress, or setbacks in emotional arcs.
Okay. So
Hmm.
another question is, why does the discovery of water increase the possibility of life and other planets?
Finding water increases the possibility of life on other planets because water as a liquid seems essential for the life we know. It's the ideal environment for those key biochemical reactions to occur and transport nutrients. If water exists somewhere, that could possibly indicate life has had a chance to develop there. It doesn't guarantee life, but finding water drastically increases the probability and makes places much more interesting in the search for extraterrestrial life. We can find it on moons orbiting gas giants like Jupiter or Saturn, too, hidden oceans under ice. Even tiny traces of water are exciting.
Okay. So my other question is, could
Okay,
there
shoot.
be life forms that do not depend on water discussed scientifically?
Yeah, scientists have theorized about life that doesn't depend on water, but it's pretty speculative. Ammonia is one alternative solvent. It can stay liquid at lower temperatures than water, but chemical reactions are slower. Other options explored include methane or even silicon based life, which could hypothetically use different solvents. But all these have major drawbacks. These alternatives aren't as effective at forming complex molecules or providing stable chemistry needed for self replication. The problem is water has these incredible properties for forming stable molecules and facilitating life as we understand it. We haven't figured out how something else could do it as well. Are you still with me? I'm still here. Take your time with whatever you want to explore next.
Okay, so my other question is, how is water
Sorry,
connected
could
to
you repeat?
human imagination, emotion, and psychological state?
Water connects deeply to imagination, emotion, and psychological well being. From a psychological perspective, we often associate water with the unconscious, dreams, intuition, the unknown depths of our minds. Jungian psychology connects water to emotions, feelings, and the collective unconscious. When we're stressed or anxious, we talk about being overwhelmed or drowning in stress. That imagery connects emotional and physiological responses to being engulfed. Water environments can actually reduce stress. Beaches, lakes can promote relaxation through our biophilic response to natural surroundings. It's fundamental to how we think about inner states, like going with the flow or emotional resilience. Does that make sense, or would you like me to expand on something specifically?
My other question is, water is life. Do you consider this scientific fact or symbolic statement?
I think it's both. Scientifically, life as we know it can't exist without water. Every biological process we've ever studied requires it. So it's a factual observation. Symbolically, it resonates because water is essential for spiritual nourishment too, cleansing rituals, baptism, purification practices. It represents renewal and emotional depth. The statement taps into something fundamental about our dependence on it physically and our deep connection to it emotionally. So, water is life works on both practical and poetic levels. Are you still there? Just waiting whenever you're ready.
Hmm. सो गाइस यही था आज का हमारा कॉलोनी तो थैंक यू वेरी मच कि आप लोगों ने हमारा कॉलोनी देखा तो ओके